Get out. Good girl. Good girl. Sit. Sit. Good girl. Good girl, Gleam. Sit. Sit. Hi, my name's Ken Roebuck, and this is Gleam, one of my Labradors. I'm a professional gun dog trainer in New York State, and I breed and train Labradors and Spaniels. Now, this tape that we're making is about gun dog training retrievers. Strictly gun dog training, nothing to do with field trials at all. I'm going to cover the aspect relating to the normally accepted work of retrievers, which relates of course to duck hunting, the single and double retrieves and stopping to whistle and land and water work and so on. But I'm also going to cover upland hunting. So many labs and golden retrievers now are used to hunt and quarter and flush and retrieve in the same way that spaniels are, that we're going to cover that side as well. I'll have a lot to say and a lot to explain as we go through the tape, things to advise to do, and of course things to advise not to do. Some things will go wrong, not too many I hope, but when you're training dogs, this is always going to happen. When things go wrong, I'll try to explain how to correct it. I hope you enjoy the tape, I hope you find it interesting, but above all, I hope that it's of assistance and help to you in training your own dog. Good girl, Gleam. Good girl. Sit. Good girl. Hey. Sit. Good girl. Yeah.
Gun Dog Magazine, the magazine of upland bird and waterfowl dogs, presents professional trainer Ken Roebuck training retrievers, a step-by-step method to assist you in training your retrievers.
For those of you who are going to use your Labrador strictly as a duck dog, in other words a non-slip retriever, it's necessary for you to do stricter heel work than you would with one that's going to be used as an upland gun dog to hunt and quarter. Sometimes with a dog that's going to be taught to hunt and quarter, it's not a good thing to teach it heel work off the leash at the same time. It can make the dog what I term sticky. In other words, it stays in too close and you can have difficulty getting it out to quarter. However, you should at least teach the dog to walk to heel on the leash. And this is Apollo, puppy, and I'm just going to go through the heel, sit, and starting the stay with him. He doesn't know anything about it at all. So I'm just going to start him off on it, and when we've gone through this, I'll finish this up by showing what you should aim for by getting out one of my own adult labs and going through the same thing again with her. So we'll start off with the puppy. Now walk him on your left, heel. Tell him heel before you start off. This is just a light cord, you don't need a heavy chain. Heel. Don't be frightened of tugging on that leash. Good boy. Heel. Just pat your leg, but have him walk with the leash slack. If he pulls, give a tug. Heel. Good boy. Heel. The object of the exercise is to have the dog walking on your left with the leash slack. Heel. Heel. Good boy. Good boy. And he is doing. See, the leash is slack now. Good boy. Heel. Heel, good dog. Heel. Make lots of turns while you're doing this. Keep it unexpected for him. Heel, good boy. Heel. Heel. Heel, good boy. Heel. And now the sit. 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 Good boy. Sit. Good boy. And pause after you've given the command and let him sit there and think about it. And then when you're ready to step out again, Remember, pat your leg and say, heel. Heel. Reminder when you turn. Oh, 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 good boy, there's a good boy. Come on, good dog. Heel. It's a good boy, heel. Heel. Just a little tug on the leash. And sit. Sit. Good boy. Good boy. Sit. Good boy. No, no. Sit. Sit. No. No. Good boy. Heel. Heel. Don't be concerned about pulling hard on the leash. It won't hurt the dog's neck. Heel. Just make sure his concentration's on you. Heel. Sit. Sit. Now he's beginning to get the idea. Sit. And then to start the stay off, still holding the leash, let him see your hand and just step back just a foot or so at a time and say stay. Stay. No more than this at first, because if you go any further he's going to follow you. And then step back into the side of him again. Good boy. Heel. 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 Good boy. Heel. Good boy. Heel. No, no. Heel. 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 Sit. Sit. Good boy. Stay. Stay. Good boy. Stay. Good boy. There's lots of practice required at this. Should give it 10 or 15 minutes for at least 5 or 6 times a week if you can. Just in the yard will do. Heel, good boy. Sit, 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 good boy, sit, stay. Well, just try dropping the leash. Stay. He knows I'm not holding it now. Stay. Good boy. Good boy. And now we'll get the adult lab out and show you what you're working towards. Heel. An adult lab, 4 years old. You may think she's slightly small, but she's from English hunting breeding. And the Labradors, the working Labradors, are inclined to be a little smaller than here. Boy, sit. Good girl. Heel. Sit. Good girl. Heel. You notice the slack leash. Good girl. Sit. And now the leash off. Heel. No, heel. Come on, Mel. Heel. Mel. Mel. Good girl. Sit. Good girl. Heel. Mel. Melanie. Heel. Heel. Good girl. Come on. Good girl. Sit. Good girl. Stay. Stay. Give a reminder as you go past the dog. Stay. Stay. Good girl. Heel. Heel. Come on, Mel. Good girl. Heel. Good girl, Mel. Heel. Oh, Mel. Heel. Mel. No. Heel. Good girl. Come on. Heel. Melanie. Heel. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Heel. Come on. Heel. Come on, Mel. Good girl. Sit. Stay. Stay. Now there's a tip stay. A tip I like to give, especially in teaching a young dog the stay command, for a while at first, don't get into the habit of walking away from the dog and calling it to you repeatedly. If you do that, the stay will become unsteady and the dog will eventually anticipate and start to follow you. It's much better that more often than not, you walk back to the dog having told it to stay. That then gets it into its mind that the stay command means remain there till I return. Good girl. Good girl, Mel. Good girl. If you work towards this obedience in this way, the heel, sit, stay, come, which is part of the retrieve, of course, then you'll have a good, sound, obedient and controllable dog. Good girl, Mel. One of the more important aspects of training any young puppy, I think, is ensuring that you get it used to the sound of gunfire in the correct way. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't put enough thought into this and are careless and thoughtless about it. They'll fire, for instance, a 12-gauge shotgun close to a puppy and may start gun nervousness, which can be very difficult to cure. Not gun shyness, that can be hereditary. I mean gun nerviness that's caused through carelessness. Now what I like to start with is a blank pistol, and I like to do it while a puppy's running free in the field. Some people use the system of firing the gun at a distance when a puppy or a number of puppies are feeding in the kennel. But I prefer the field idea. I've always used it and found it successful. You have to time when to fire the shots and make sure the pup's far enough away. And I have with me a young 5-month-old Labrador called Apollo, and I'm going to work him on this. Now, at the same time, for those of you who are going to use your Labs or Golden Retrievers as upland gun dogs, upland hunting dogs, now's the time also that you should start getting your puppy used to hunting and quartering ahead of you in the field. He has to work like a spaniel. He's a flushing dog, in fact. And he has, for this reason, to work within shooting distance, which I regard as being no more than about 20 yards to left and right and about 10 yards out ahead. It's important that your dog learn to stay within that range and to quarter and turn when he's got to the extent of that range. And for that, you teach him to turn to the whistle and a voice command. Now, I'm going to do this at the same time as the gun exercise with Apollo. Remember, he's only 5 months old. He's heard the gun fired before, of course, he's used to that. But he's only 5 months old, and he never has done any hunting before. Things may go wrong, but this is what happens in puppy training. This is why you train dogs. Good boy, come on. Good boy. There's a good boy. Now, there's a good boy. Get on. Get on, good boy. There's a good boy. Get on. Good boy, get on. Get on. Good boy, get on. That's a good boy. Zigzag yourself a bit to try and keep some sort of a pattern. Good boy, if he's not getting out far enough. Good boy, come on, good dog. Good dog, get on. Good boy. That's a good boy. Good dog. Good boy, get on. Get on, good dog. Get on, good dog. There's a good boy. Get on. Get on. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Get on, fellow. Come on. Get on, good dog. Get on. Get on. That's a good boy. Good boy. It's a good fellow. Come on. Good boy. Here. Good boy. Get on. That's a good boy. Come on. Showing a little more interest. He thinks there's a retrieve out there for him. Good boy. Good boy. Now work back with him. Good boy. Come on, fellow. Come on. Here. Come on, good boy. Good boy. Come on, good dog. There's a good boy. Get on. Good dog. Let him get into the cover, if you will. because this is where birds are going to be eventually. Good boy. That's a good boy. Get on. Good boy. Get on, get on, get on. Good dog. Good dog, get on. Get on. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy, get on. That's a turn whistle. That's a good boy. Good boy. Come on. Good boy. Hey, that's a good puppy. That's a good puppy, eh? Good little dog. Good little dog. Now that's the type of thing I mean. Of course, it's going to take a lot more work, especially with the quartering, but eventually, with what I'll show later, you can improve the system in which you teach the quartering by using dummies and perhaps dead birds as well. Good boy. One of the major roles of most retrievers is, of course, duck hunting. And in relation to this, of course, decoys are used. Now, I think it's a good idea to get a retriever accustomed to the sight of decoys by laying them out in the field, as you see here, when you're doing dummy retrieving in the early days of training. If you were to put decoys out onto water without the dog having seen them before and then send it out for retrieves, it would almost certainly pay more attention to the decoys, understandably, go to them, try to retrieve them and possibly get them all tangled up. So I think the first stage really is to put the decoys out on the field and walk your dog through them, let it see them and maybe sniff at them and get used to them. Heel. Good. Come on, Gleam. Good girl. Good girl. Gleam. Good girl. If the dog pays too much attention to the decoys, just say no. Let her know that they're not for her. Good girl. Good girl. And certainly if the dog tries to pick one up, check it, say no, take it off the dog and walk it through again. Sit. Sit. Now I'm just going to give her a couple of retrieves. Sit. Remember the stay command first. I'll be repeating this a lot, but it's a command well worth repeating and remembering. Gleam. Sit. Stay. Also remember the pause before you send the dog. That's the key to steadiness. Now, you'll see me giving the direction, or rather the visual signal to retrieve in two different ways. I'll explain after why this is. First of all, I'll give the command close to the signal close to the dog. Stay. Get out. Good girl. Sit. Sit. Now, of course, if your dog drops the dummy and starts paying attention to the decoys, get out there fast and correct it. Bring the dog away and do the retrieve again. And use the command no. That's the main and most important correction command. Stay. Stay. Now the other way of sending the dog is this. Get out. Good girl. Good girl. Sit. Oh. Sit. Good girl. Stay. Now the reason I do this is because those of you who are going to be using your retriever as an upland gun dog as well to hunt and quarter and flush and retrieve are going to have to use both commands. The one signal for ducks with the hand in front of the dog, and the other one from a distance when a pheasant's been shot. Obviously the dog's not going to be here if you shot a pheasant out there, so it must get accustomed to this other hand signal and way of sending. So right from the beginning, vary which one you use. Good girl. Good girl, Gleam. Good girl. Now the stopping to whistle command is an important exercise for a retriever, whether it's being used as a duck dog or as an upland gun dog or both. And it's best started at the time that you start teaching the dog to walk to heel and to sit on command. And you use the whistle in conjunction with the sit command. And teach it thoroughly with the dog alongside you first of all. I'll just go quickly through this. Heel, good girl. Heel. Good girl. Heel. Heel. Sit. Good girl. Remember the hand signal. Sit. That's going to be very important later on when you're stopping the dog at a distance, which I'll get onto next. Heel. Good girl. Heel. Heel. Good girl. Good girl. And so on. This is the way that it should first of all be started. Now, having taught the dog to stop to whistle in this way alongside you, you need to extend the matter. You need her or him to sit at a greater distance, and it's best, I think, taught whilst the dog is coming towards you. And we'll just run through that with her. Stay. Good girl. Stay. Now I'm going to call her to me and stop her en route and then whistle her in again. Mel, good girl. Good girl. Now you notice she stopped immediately. The important points to remember are not only the whistle, but that hand signal, positive and high. That signal, that's what's going to help to stop the dog. Then pause, let her stay there. Come, good girl, come. Good girl, come. Good girl. Now sit. You noticed a little hesitancy afterwards to come in, having stopped her. This is natural. They'll all do this for a while. Heel. We'll just go through it again. Heel. Good girl. Come on, Mel. Good girl. Oh, Melanie. Good girl. Sit. Sit. Stay. This is just a gradual build-up to stopping her in the field at a distance when she's actually working later on birds. Everything's got to be done stage by stage and a step at a time. I'll try again now. Mel! Oh, Mel! Good girl! Good girl. I'll stop her a little further away this time. I'll call her in again and stop her again. Melanie, come! Come! Good girl, come on! Oh, Mel! Good girl. Mel, come! Good girl. Good girl. Well, there you are. It's just a case of, as I said before, a stage by stage, a little bit at a time, all the way through, until you can go further and further away and stop her at greater distances. Heel. Good girl. One aspect of retrieve training that people tend to forget about or often ignore is this business of a dog bringing back a dummy or a bird, and on seeing another one thrown or shot, dropping the one that it's got and going for the second, which of course isn't good. The bird they drop may be a cripple and it may get away. Now, it's well worthwhile training to try and counteract this happen, and to start doing it by using dummies. This is Gleam, one of my 2 labs, and I'll just show you the way that I do this. Good girl, sit, sit, good girl. By throwing one out to retrieve and then throwing another one as she's coming back with this. The important point being she must complete the retrieve before she goes for the other. Stay. Stay. Remember the stay reminder before you throw. Stay. Get out. Good girl. Sit. Sit. Now you notice she stopped and watched and marked the fall of the other, which is fine. That's sensible. She's using her head. She knows approximately where it is now. There's no reason why she shouldn't do that, provided she carries on with the one carries on in with the one she's carrying. Get out. Get out. Good girl. Sit. Sit. Good girl. Get out. Good girl. Good girl. Sit. Sit. Good girl. Sit. Now, it's an interesting exercise and relatively easy to teach. Start with the dummies and use the no command if you see the slightest intention of the puppy going for the other one. Shout no to it immediately and persist with it, and you'll get it, and it'll save a lot of problems with birds later. It's an exercise well worth teaching, and it'll pay dividends when you're hunting birds. Good girl, come on. Now we're going to do some more dummy retrieving, but this time we're going to use 2 first of all, and then 3. We already know that the dog will sit steady alongside, or at least it should do by now. And I'm going to start off by throwing one dummy out that way and another out that way. This is again is a marking exercise, and we'll finish up with throwing all 3 eventually. Remember the stay command before you throw. Stay. Stay. Now, I'll let her go now in the order in which they were thrown. This one first. Get up. Good girl. Good girl, Mel. Good girl. Sit. Good girl. Get out. Good girl. Good girl. Sit. Good girl. Heel. Heel. Now, the important thing is to make sure the dummies are wide enough apart so that there's no confusion in the dog's mind. If you were to throw 2, one there and one there, you wouldn't be able to give a positive direction, at least at first, for which one to go to. So we'll reverse the order now. Stay. Now, I'm not going to let her go this time for the last one she's seen. I'm going to send her for this other one, the first one. This is the one she'll have in her mind, but this is the one I wanted to go for. No! Heel. Be ready in case anything goes wrong like that. Good girl. Get out. No, no. Heel. Heel. Good girl. Sit. Good girl. Bring the dog back each time. Don't let her get away with it. Good girl. Get out. Good girl. Good girl. Sit. Good girl. Sit. Good girl. Get out. See, that just shows you how they have the last one that fell in mind. That's the one they're thinking of. You've got to teach them to go for the one that you want them to go for, not always the one that they want. Get out. Get out. I lost. Get over. Now, get over. Good girl, come on. That was an easy mark that she should have got, really. Here, we'll do it again. Come here, sit, sit, sit. We'll do the same order again. Sit, stay, stay. Now remember, it's this one first. Heel, turn her towards the dummy. Get out. Good girl. Good girl. Sit, sit. Good girl. Get out. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Sit. Good girl. Now, we'll try a triple. Stay. Heel, heel. Get out. No, no. Heel. Sit. Get out. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Sit. Good girl. Heel. Heel. Sit. Good girl. Get out. Mel. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Now the third one. Heel. Now. Heel. Heel. Sit. Good girl. Get out. Good girl. Good girl. Heel. Come here. Sit. Good girl. Sit. And now, an important one that I think is very valuable for retriever work, is this. One dummy or two dummies thrown out, not for the dog to retrieve, but to pick up yourself. This teaches manners and enforces the steadiness. Stay. Don't let the dog retrieve every one you throw. Maybe one in every 6 or 8 retrieves pick up yourself, and let the dog see you pick them up. This is the very first stages of teaching a dog to honor another dog when you're out duck hunting or pheasant hunting. In other words, to teach it that not every bird shot is going to be his. Only those birds that you tell it are his. Good girl, Mel. Good girl. Come on. Good girl. So far the retrieving that we've done has been with hand-thrown dummies. And now we're going on to the use of the dummy launcher or retriever trainer. Now the advantage of this is that it fires the dummies out a lot further than you can throw a hand-thrown one, and it also of course simulates the sound of a shot. And it is essential that before you start using this, you should have got a puppy absolutely accustomed to the sound of gunfire. It wouldn't be good to start using this alongside a pup unless it's been taken out and had the gun fired and you've ensured that it is in no way afraid of it. So I'm just going to give Gleam a retrieve with this, and here's a tip. Whilst we're doing this, it's a very useful one. It's from the safety angle. I think you should look upon this or treat it as you would a gun. In loading it, first of all, put the dummy on and then put the shell in second. And ensure when you're closing this that you do so away from the direction of the dog and anybody else in the vicinity. If it happened to go off accidentally, it could badly injure the dog or a person. Close it up, push down the handle, and it's ready to fire. Now, as with thrown dummies, remember the sequence. Remind the dog to stay. Then pause, stay, get out, and then send the dog. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Sit. Sit. Always try to get a nice delivery. Sit. Try to avoid the dog. Sit. Try to avoid it dropping it. Sit. Good girl. And that's the dummy launcher. It's a very useful tool indeed for training both retrievers and spaniels. Good girl. It's a good girl, Gleam. Good girl. Good girl. Now the retrieving we've done so far has been with dummies and the dummy launcher as well, of course. But you appreciate that all the retrieves have been by throwing the dummy or firing the dummy launcher from alongside the dog. In other words, the dog has got used to seeing the dummy going out from it, out that way or out that way. Now, what you should do is have a friend to help you with this exercise and start teaching the dog to mark from a distance also by dummies being thrown further out in the field, to left and to right, with a shot fired. This is particularly for the duck dog that's sitting in or close to a blind, learning to mark birds that are hit at a distance. Dave's standing out there with 3 dummies and the pistol now, so we'll just go through the exercise. Straightforward retrieves, but the dog watching from further away. Stay. Again, that reminder to stay. Stay. Get out. Good girl. Good girl. Come, come. Good girl. Come. That's a good girl. Sit. Sit. Now we'll have one off in the other direction. Stay. Stay. Get out. Good girl. Good girl. Sit. Sit. Good girl. Stay. 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 Get out. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Sit. You can extend the distance if you want. And also, of course, later, once the dog's doing this well with dummies, you can use dead birds and eventually flown live birds that with a few shot, pigeons for instance. Good girl, Gleam. Okay, Dave. Thank you. At this stage in training, it's a good idea to have a little revision test to ensure that what you've done up to this point has been thoroughly learnt by the dog. This is only a short test, but in this time you're incorporating pretty well everything that you've been teaching the dog so far. And it's a good idea to do this several times perhaps to ensure that everything that you've taught the dog has really sunk in. This is before you go on to serious bird work. We're just going to do a retrieve first of all. Sit. Now the dog is Mel. Sit. The dog is sitting. We're reminding her to stay. We're going to throw the dummy. Stay. And fire a shot. She's remained steady. We just pause for a few seconds. Get out. And send her for the retrieve. Good girl. High lost. High lost. Good girl. High lost. High lost. Good girl. Good girl. Try and get a nice delivery as usual. Sit. Good girl. Sit. Good girl. So far so good. Now earlier on, good girl. Sit. Stay. Earlier on and throughout we've been teaching the stopping to whistle. Now we did it first of all starting off when the dog was walking at heel. Then we progressed to having the dog sit at a distance and stop it on the way in. Now we're going to stage further and we're going to test the dog by first throwing the dummy and stopping her on the way out for the dummy and then giving the order to retrieve again. Now this is the ultimate as regards this test at this stage in training, because it's a great temptation to a dog when you've thrown a dummy to want to continue and pick it up. If the dog will stop to whistle halfway, having thrown a dummy, then you really know that the training you've done on that control has sunk in. And it's at that stage that you can think about going on to serious bird training, but not until. So let's give it a try. Stay. Pause again, and then get out. Pause again, and then get out. She's remembered the first place. Good girl. Good girl. I like to leave a dog to hunt and sort it out for itself if it will. Get out. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Needed a little help on that one. We'll just do it again, this time with a slight variation on it. Sit. Sit. Good girl. Stay. Now this time I'm going to stop her halfway, call her back to me, and then send her out again. Stay. Stay. Get out. Come. Good girl, come. Stay. Good girl. Get out. Good girl. Good girl. Sit. Sit. Good girl. Stay. I think you'll agree that that proves that the stopping to whistle has really sunk into the dog. You've got the control there artificially with the dummies, so at this stage you can think about going on to some serious bird work. Good girl, Mel. Good girl. Now we're going to go on to some hand signal training. This is using two dummies and teaching the dog to go to the right or to the left, whichever signal you give to it. This, of course, is an extension of stopping a dog to a whistle to give it directions if there's a bird down that it hasn't seen shot, or of course a dummy thrown that it hasn't seen thrown. Now, at the same time, because we ran that revision test before and ensured that what we had taught so far had been assimilated well by the dog, I'm also at the same time going to do an honouring test with this, and I'll leave Melanie here sitting to honour while Gleam works. She won't do anything other than stay there, having been told to while I work Gleam. And at this stage of training, it's good to do this. It's just added control with the dog. After all, eventually, when you're actually hunting birds, particularly waiting for ducks flighting, once you've told the dog to stay, if a friend of yours, a companion there, has shot a bird and he has his own dog, he'll want his own dog to retrieve it. So it is important that your dog stay there and honour whilst the other dog retrieves. This dummy retraining is all part of that process leading up to eventually the bird work. So we'll remember the commands. First of all, Melanie, stay, stay. Gleam. Good girl, Gleam. Good girl here. Good girl. Sit. Now step back from the dog. Remind her, stay. Let her clearly see the dummies thrown. One that way, stay. The other that way, stay. Walk back to your position. A reminder to the dog that's honouring, stay. Just pause. And give your signals clearly and with the arm relating to the direction you want the dog in. If you want to go to the right, you use the right arm. To the left arm. Stay. Get out. Good girl. Good girl. Sit. Sit. Good girl. Stay. Stay. Now we have to walk Gleam. We have to walk Gleam back again to sit her in the same position to give her the direction to the other dummy. Sit, stay. A reminder again to Melanie, stay, stay. Now, a clear arm signal, get out. Good girl. Sit. Stay. We'll just go through it again quickly. Stay. Stay. I'm going to switch things now. The first time I sent her for the last one she saw thrown. This time I'm going to reverse it. And I'm going to send her for the one on the left. She's already facing slightly to the right, expecting to get that one, but we'll change things with her. Stay. Get out. Good girl. Good girl. Sit. Good girl. Stay. Heel. Sit. Stay. Stay. I emphasize this business of using the appropriate arm. For instance, if you were sending a dog to the left, it's best not to use the right arm because half of it's concealed by your body. It's much better to use the appropriate arm for the appropriate direction. Stay. Get out. Sit. Sit. Stay. And now to conclude, one very valuable one, and one that I use a lot in training a dog, and that's teaching manners. And manners is part of control and honouring. We've seen Melanie sit and honour while Gleam did the hand signals for the retrieves. And one exercise that helps considerably in this is to throw a dummy, tell the dog to stay, and go and pick it up yourself. I recommend you do this, I would say, once or twice in every 7 or 8 retrieves. It teaches the dog one very important thing, and that is that every dummy thrown or every bird shot is not necessarily going to be for him. It may be for your friend's dog. He may have shot the bird. Your own dog must understand that he only retrieves when you tell him to, and that if another dog or a person picks something up, he's got to accept that. Now stay. Remember the reminder to stay. Throw the dummy. Another reminder, stay. Walk out, pick it up, and let the dog see you pick it up. Good dogs. It's well worth doing. Don't forget about it. It helps considerably with the overall control. Good dogs. Go Mel. Good girl, Mel. Go. Get on. Get on, please. Get on. Get on. Good girl. Get on. Get on. Good girl. Get on. Get on. Good girl. Get on, hunt them out. Good girl. I lost. I lost. Get out. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Get on. I lost. Good girl. Get on. Get on. Gone away. No. No. Gone away. Good girl. No. No. Here. Get on. Hello. Get on. Get out. I lost. I lost. I lost. I lost. I lost. Gleam. I lost. I lost. I lost. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Heel. 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 Good girl. Up. Stay. If you recall, early on in the tape, I showed a young Labrador pup, 5 months old, his name was Apollo, just starting at the very beginning of learning to hunt and quarter. Now at that stage he didn't know anything, but what we were doing then relates to what we've done now. But in doing it now, I've done it with, of course, an adult dog, Glean. I've hunted and quartered her right down the field towards you, and I did 3 important things with her. First of all, throw a dummy and fire a couple of shots to ensure that she'd be steady to that. Then I hunted her on when she'd retrieved it. Next, released a pigeon and fired a shot, which is a far greater temptation than a thrown dummy. She remained steady to that. I waited a while because the bird flew round for quite a bit, and she sat there and watched it well without attempting to go. I then, if you notice, and again I stress this point, when I cast her off to hunt, I cast her off in this direction, away from the direction in which the pigeon had flown. And it's a point worth remembering when you're hunting your dog. And then of course I finished up with another dummy retrieve. Now what we had here in this short exercise were really 3 or 4 valuable points. One was that the dog was hunting and quartering within shooting distance, which of course is very important for a flushing dog, as I've mentioned before. She was listening to the whistle and turning within the range I required. She was retrieving and remaining steady when I threw the dummies or released the birds, which is the object of the exercise in the upland hunting. And the other point is that she was steady while some distance away from me. Now there's a big difference between that type of steadiness and when a dog is sitting alongside you here waiting for a retrieve. Under those circumstances you have a little less control. So we have proved through this exercise that she's really ready now to start actually flushing some pigeons, for shots to be fired as the bird flies off, and for 1 or 2 pigeons to be shot over her. Now a more advanced aspect of retriever work is of course teaching a dog to do a blind retrieve. And by a blind retrieve I mean a retrieve of a dummy or a bird which it has not seen thrown or shot. Now to start the dog off doing this, it's as well to choose carefully the location where you're going to train. And an ideal aid or help to this is the setup that we have right here. On the left here, as you can see, there's a long line of straight high grass. And I'm going to take advantage of this because it will help to channel the dog along and keep her in a straight line as she retrieves the dummies one after the other in turn. Now first of all I'm going to start off by having her sit here, and I'm going to walk out and drop 1 dummy, come back and then send her, and then extend it to 2 and extend it to 3 and so on. This is just the start of teaching the blind retrieve. It's a case of extending it with more and more dummies as you go on and as the dog learns. And I'll have more to say about it shortly. But let's start off by doing, first of all, walking out and doing the single retrieve. This is Melanie I'm going to use on this exercise. Mel, stay. Now you notice that with this dummy I threw it down openly so that she could see me drop the dummy. She knows it's there, so in a sense it's a marked retrieve at the moment. Get out. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl, Mel. Good girl. Sit. Now I talked earlier about the 2 styles of sending a dog for a retrieve. Where the blind retrieve is concerned, it is advisable, heel, come on, Mel, heel, to give the signal directly in front of the dog to give a line of the direction you want her to go in. Stay. Now we're going to drop 2 dummies. Stay. Okay, we've got 2 dummies down. I'm going to send her, and quite obviously she's going to pick up the nearest dummy first. She'll bring that back, and then I'll send her out for the one that's beyond that. Good girl, heel. Come Mel, heel. Good girl. Sit. Good girl. Get out. Get out. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Heel. Heel. Now. Heel. Sit. Good girl. Get out. The object of the exercise is to keep the dog going in a straight line, out and out and out until she eventually gets to the dummy. Good girl. Good girl. Sit. Now this time I'm going to use 3, but I'm going to try, if possible, to drop the furthest 2 without her noticing it. I'll let her see me drop the closest one when I'm on the way back, but the other 2 I'll try and drop them not as obviously as I did before. Stay. Now there are 3 dummies out there in the line, and I don't think that she's seen me drop the other 2. I think it's unlikely, but she's seen me drop that one. She doesn't know there's 3 there, so we'll have to see if she'll continue with the line eventually for the furthest one. Heel. Come on, Mel. Heel. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Get out. Good girl. Good girl. That's a good girl. Good girl. Heel. Sit. Good girl. Get out. You notice her hesitating slightly there because she hadn't seen me drop that other dummy.